Welcome Thomas to Sense. In this video, I'm going to talk about the life of H1B in the United States of America. So H1B stands for work visa, and a lot of people comes every year. Around 85,000 people they get this visa. A lot of people come as a student. In America, they do their bachelor degree or master or PhD, and then they apply for work visa. That's H1B, and then start living here. A lot of people come directly from the countries. They have some experience in a field that's in demand in America, and some employer they or company they file their H1B and they come directly to America work for that employer. So if you guys have watched my other videos where I have shown you what are those employers, a lot of what are those occupations. I will say about 90 or above 80% of those visas goes in IT, in software development, in those kind of fields and all that. Rest of that, like there are like okay, you have some doctors come in, some nurses come in, and all that. But life on H1 is gonna be same for everybody, and we are gonna talk a lot more details about that. What are the problems? I went through just all these problems. What I'm trying to share with you guys, and I'm seeing this problem happening in my neighborhood. My friends, my very close colleagues, they went through this one. So first of all, you are if you look at the number of visas provided by the companies. So there are two type of things can happen to you. So one, you directly apply with the big company here. Let's say you apply for Google or Facebook and you got the job there, or Apple. And then there are other parts of it. You see that you don't get that job with these big companies. Then you apply with consulting companies. So those consulting companies, they provide services to the other companies in United States. So if you see how many people get those visas like directly with Apple, with Facebook, and all that, there are very few. Like in Facebook, if you say maybe 700 or 500 people, and with Apple maybe 300, 400, whatever number, every year that's a different number. So the rest of the people go with the consulting companies. So those even Tata Consulting or Wipro or Deloitte or these companies, they hire a lot of people. And what they do, they provide further services to the companies. So they get the projects and send you to work on those. So and there are a lot of people they work for desi consulting firms. Those people who cannot get into big consulting firms or companies, that they will work with small desi consulting firms. So that's another problem. I will make another video how the desi consulting firms treat you. So I'm gonna go all those things. Now we know that where you have different type of employers. Direct employers, you have big consulting firms, and you have small desi consulting firms. So you can be working on H1B visa with any of these different employers. The problem, and the one when your employers hire you. So let's say you are hired for the Facebook. So their head office is wherever it is. You're gonna be pretty much working in that location. That's a really good thing actually. So if you are hired by the direct employer, your life is gonna be better, because at least you know that you have this visa for 3 years, and now you are gonna be in this location. But if you are hired by the consulting firms, then your life is going to be very difficult. You are not sure of you are going to work in one location. So think about a big consulting firm or desi consulting firm. They are going to find different projects. They call them projects, or work with different big companies, and they are going to send you for the assignment for 6 months or 3 months. So you are pretty much like, okay, in America, wherever you go, I mean, you have to lease a house for 1 year or 6 month lease and all that. So a nice place where you want to live, but you can't lease it because you are not sure if you can even be there for 6 months, because maybe your project will end in 3 months or 2 months. So that's very uncertain situation where your life is like on the go, and especially when you have family, and that really hurts. I had to make a lot of decisions on that one as well. I did this consulting part of it. So I leave my family. Let's say I had a couple of kids, so they were going to school, so I couldn't take them with me, and I had to go from New Mexico to the Washington D.C. So that's around like 1,800 miles away from the family. So you have to make decisions. And in my neighborhood, there was one guy. He was living on H1B visa. His kids were going to school, but now his project got finished in 1 year. Now he's taken the whole family to the new state. He's going to Texas from North Carolina. So that really kind of disturbs you. Like you may lose a lot of money in the rent. You don't live in the nice places. You try to find the cheap places where you can accommodate with the other roommates and all that. So kind of you are on the go. If you're by yourself, I mean, it works okay. If you are with the family, that hurts a lot. Especially you have project to project, and the pressure on you. Like okay, you lose that project, then you have to find another project. So it's not like oh. Um, if you lose the project, they are gonna send me into another client, or maybe the other client does not want a person with the same technology. So let's say you are working with Java, and the other project, this company or Desi consulting firm get for you, they need a person in .NET. So now you are stuck with that. Like okay, I have to learn the .NET. So they give you some time, okay, maybe a month or so. So you are gonna learn that .NET and all that, and then apply for it. You have with these direct companies, you have to pass the interview to get the project. So big consulting firms, they take you, they pay you, but also they don't pay you a whole lot, because they get maybe $100 from actual company, that's the primary company. But as you are working with the consulting firm or consulting company, they are gonna pay you maybe $30-40 per hour. That's make like $80,000 or $65,000, whatever, maybe even $100,000. So you have to prepare whenever these primary companies, they need you. Excuse me. Whenever they need you, they will look for some specific skills, and you have to build those skills. So that's also pressure. You are very expert in Java or a C sharp, and they will be asking like, "Oh, we need a MongoDB guy who also knows the MongoDB." I mean, good for learning, but think about that. You are in transition, like switching between the projects. You have family, you have kids, and you have to take care of them as well. You'll worry about them, and also on top of that, you have to learn the skill and pass the interview. It's not like oh, like I will learn it on the project. No, you have to prove that you are expert on those technologies, so they will hire you. Otherwise, these consulting firms, they will let you go. They are not going to care about you. So that's very hard part of it. Now, going back home, this is one of the worst part of the life on H1B visa. I feel that that's very terrible with humans, and you are under the constant pressure. Like if you will go back, you will not be able to come back. So I have a lot of friends, the kids born here, they want to take their kids back home, and they want their grandparents to see their kids and love them, and have the party or whatever, or celebration at their home country. But they don't take their kids. I mean, it is one of the terrible situation where you feel that you are totally in a situation like okay, if I will leave the country, leave United States, maybe I will not get my H1 visa renewal at the border again when I try to come back. And had happened. One of my friend, he went to India, and he worked here for 5 years. Didn't go back, and once he went back, they denied his H1B visa. So he had like he had a car here, he had a rental house or whatever the property or whatever the assets he had it. So he called us or other friends, and we tried to sell his property or things, and try to help him out with that. So he got settled down anyways in India. But I think I know a lot of friends. I mean, I'm one of the example as well. I came in 2006, and I went back home in 2013. And I'm from Pakistan, and getting green card is much easier for us. So I got my green card in actually in those 6-7 years. But a lot of my Indian friends, they get their green card in like 18 years, 17 years, or something like that. So it get really hard when you are on H1, and you go back, you had to renew your visa, and from India and or China or whatever the country you are living in, and you belong to. So that's one of the biggest depression. Like your sisters will get married, your brothers will get married, you have nephews, they will grow up. Or nieces or whatever, your mother die or your father die, and like okay, you are in a stuck situation where you have so much pain, and you want to share the happiness with your family back home, and you want to share the sorrow with them, and you are here on the phone, and I mean, thanks to WhatsApp and thanks to these live video things, people see their celebrations on these live videos and share some memories with the family. But I think like if your mother is sick, you're not gonna be able to make her happy on WhatsApp. I mean, you can send money, you can do all those things. Very terrible situation. Emotionally, you will go in depression with that. So on one side, you want to go back, and but on other side, your parents or family also will say, hey, if you will come to India or Pakistan or other country, I mean, you will not fit here. You are not, totally unfit because you lived here for so long, and you're totally like gone in a different situation. Like your even family back home, they will encourage you to live in the United States, and in your mindset, you feel like yeah, you're not able to make decisions and go in depression and all that. I have seen many friends going through this situation. We talk a lot of about this depression. I went to a lot. You would not believe how you go through this all the situations. You can't share happiness. You can't share sorrows. You are just stuck in a system. And again, if you think of going back home, you are also like this is the environment or situations are not perfect for you there as well. So people are also like live in that country, those countries, and want to come abroad and do better job and live a better life. So but I mean, I have seen people making decision they go back, and but again, it's one of the things that you are in a very depression or situation. I'm trying to emphasize a lot on this one because I go through this one pretty much every day with the friends, and that's one of the things. Like every friend who's on H1B visa, we talk about this. Like my mom is sick, I can't go. This visa thing is killing me, and all those kind of things. So okay. You are, if you are here in America, I mean, you are a citizen or a green card or even on H1, you can buy a house. But even you work for a Google or you work for Facebook or work for any consulting firm, you can buy a house. But the thing is, as you are not sure, like okay, your location might change, so you buy a house and then you have to sell the house. So a lot of people like they rent the house. So when you rent a house, I mean, if somebody buy the house in 15 to 20 years, they can make mortgage payments, and after 20 years, the house is going to be yours. But as you're renting the house, you are just making the rent payments. So in even like you, I have seen friends who spend even 10 years. They lived on rent. I lived on rent for many years. I lived on rent almost like 10 years. So if I will have my green card, or I would know that like okay, I have citizenship and I'm not moving anywhere. This is the place I want to be settled down. So I will save that rent for 10 years, and I would pay it as a mortgage. So think about that. That will be big investment in my case. So when I got the green card, the very first thing I moved to Charlotte, and I said, okay, I'm all settling here. This is my place. I want to find a job in this city. I'm gonna live here, and I'm buying a house. So that's the very first thing I did. That in my neighborhood, I know at least in my neighborhood, like there are 57 houses or something like that. I know at least 10 of those Indian friends that they are on H1B visa, and they were in this situation when they were buying houses, and here in my neighborhood, like I don't know my where my employer is gonna send me next month or in 2 months or 3 months, and how I'm gonna deal with that thing. So, but a lot of them they did buy a house, and in this 1 year, three of them had to sell their houses. So maybe I can just walk you guys through in just like couple of houses from here. That guy, he his consulting firm. He finished a project here with one of the big company, and now they are sending him to Texas. So he's selling his house. And there was another guy who lives in the neighbor, and he decided not to sell the house but travel. So his family lives here, but he goes places to places. So I can tell you like it's a lot of pain. I mean, people buy the house on H1, and then they are like they have to sell it back because they lost the job, or they have to change their project, and they have to work on those ones. Your kids will be in a situation. I mean, you think as a by yourself, like you are going through a lot of depression because you are here for 6 months. You have to adjust with the team. It's a very fast paced job market. You struggle to learn the technology and all that. On the other side, your kids are not getting the time from you. If you have kid or family, okay, and they are going to one school in the middle of the year, you decided, okay, no, your consulting firm found you another project in different states, so you have to leave for that one. So think your kids are gonna live without you for 6 months with your wife or spouse or whatever. And then if you will take them in the middle of the year, then you have to struggle with those kids and how they're going to adjust in the new environment, how the schooling system is going to work for them. And also, housing is very expensive, and all those places where there are good schools, those houses are the rent is very high. So in America, I mean, if you're living in a poor neighborhood, school is also worse school, and if you're living in a good neighborhood, rich neighborhood, the schools are gonna be better. So if you are moving between the states, you will be paying a lot more rent because you can't buy the house, because you don't know in next 6 months where you are gonna be. And that's one of the reason. Depression, that's the one of the uh, biggest thing I will say, or uncertainty, or I don't know what words you use for the worst part of the humans. Then they're not sure what they're doing, and they kept doing, and they kept going in different directions to make the things happen for them and happen for the family, and happen for their families back home. The friends, I mean, thanks to Facebook and WhatsApp and all those kind of social media, you come here for 6 months, you work here with the one team, and now it's the time to go to the next state or a place where you don't know anybody, and your family does not know anybody. So the link you create in a years. Uh, let's say you are sad, you want to share your sadness or share the moment of happiness with somebody. Like you don't know people around you. You know there are some colleagues, yeah, there you work with them. So every time, like, okay, you're changing project, you're moving from one place to another place. It's a long way to make new friends, and when you make some new friends, you have somebody to talk with about the things, and by the time you are moving to another project. So that's one of the big, like, kind of depression. Like you don't have people, by social media at least you can talk with your parents back home, or sister, or all that. The and other part is as you are totally uncertain, you can't buy the things, you are not buying house, you're not stable in one place, your job is not at one place. If you lose your job, that's one of the fear that also kind of kills you every time. If you lose a job, you have only like 10-20 days to get a new job. So in that time, I mean, you can be Einstein or you can be Newton, but the things, if there is no opening in that area, or there is not right opening at that time, who's gonna hire you? And hiring is like, it's not just a simple process like, oh, I just lost my job, and now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna apply for another employer. They have to go through the documentation and everything, reapply for you and all that. So a lot of companies are not willing to do it. So in the last 10, if you lose your job, you are all pretty much done. Like, okay, you are selling your car, you are selling your house if you have bought it, your kids future, like in the middle of the half of the school is done and all that, and you are thinking like, okay, where I need to go now. And if I go to India, the situation is worse and all those kind of thing. I don't know, if I go to Pakistan, I mean, what job I'm gonna get and all that. I mean, and you live here a good life in a way, because you see this country is clean, respectful, and now not a whole lot corruption in many of the areas. So you see this a very nice country for yourself to live and for your family, and you always dream of like having kids here, going to good schools, and you also, a lot of people bring their parents, they get medical things done with the health and all that, so they feel like, oh, this is a great country. I mean, helps my parents, help my kids and all that. So you feel like, okay, if I might lose my job, what I'm gonna do? I mean, you feel so disconnected here in America, and also you had no connection back home, like how I'm gonna survive in that country. You lived here for so long. Well, the one of the big thing that I hope that's changing. But you are working with the big consulting firms, and what they do, they hire you, and then they place you in different projects. That's good thing. Now, if and you lose your project. So you work with company A, and your consulting firms, and you work there for 6 months, and then your project is finished. Now there you need to find a new project. So your consulting firm is gonna market you or find you a new project. So if they find you a project right away, that's good. If they don't find you project, you are like in very much pain and very much fear, like they will might let you go. And in bigger consulting firms, they are able to find you projects. And think about desi small consulting firms. And if you are working with the big consulting firms, they have to pay you your salary and all that. But with the small consulting firms or desi consulting firms, they do, like they call it a bench time. Like you have find a project, you did complete project, you came back, you are not able to find another project. So now you are on the bench, and on bench they don't pay you sometime. I have seen a lot of the SE consulting firms that don't pay you actually at all, and but as they have to show they are paying you, so they will get money from you to run your pay stubs. So that's one of the worst thing. You lose, you already don't have a job, you're not making money, and then on top of that, you are giving them a cash money or something to run your pay stubs or pay salary. So once anybody gets salary, let's say if I make $5,000 in the United States, there would be almost like couple on 5,000, like I think 30% tax or something. So you are gonna pay $1,500 or $1,600 just for the tax, even from your own pocket, even you're not working, but you don't have option. So you are losing a lot of money, and you are going through a lot of stress as you find a new project. Also, while you are on the bench, these small desi consulting firms that don't pay you salaries, so you have to keep your status up and running by even giving them money, so they can run your pay stubs and show to the American government institutions like, oh, you are legit. Employee here, and you are working, and this company is paying you. So that's also very painful. Um, there is a lot more things that I can tell you about the life of H1B visa. These are all bad things I told you, or the things actually we went through to solve these problems. I came to one of the solution. Like I was on H1, and I was like going through this like uncertainty, depression, like when I'm gonna get my green card and all that. So for Pakistan, actually, it's very fast. It takes around 3 years to get your green card if somebody applies for you. So even in those 3 years, I mean, you the those you are really feeling the pain of it and everything. But what I thought at the end of the day, like, okay, to make yourself happy, not happy, satisfied, or like you train your brain. You say, okay, I'm here in this country as a visit, and whatever the money I make, I'm gonna save that money. So in case I'm not living here, I'm gonna go back home. I learned some good experience. One of the best thing I can tell you, like as on H1 visa, I mean, this is awesome. Like to be in this country for a while, even you are going through a lot of things, and if you train yourself, like okay, fine, whatever is gonna happen. I'm not gonna bother myself too much. I'm gonna just keep going through the process and keep working through the process. But enjoy the part or enjoy the life in United States. That's the biggest thing. If you would have lived in your country, I mean, yeah, you would have seen just the people you grew up with, that you would have seen the only culture you would have seen from centuries, and with parents and families. And here you learn so much, like as a human, there is so much values you learn from different people here. You visit a lot of places, you eat different meals from different countries. I mean, even those meals are available in India or Pakistan and all those for people. But as a mediocre person, I mean, you can pretty much treat yourself like you are equal to other people. You make good money. You can enjoy different parts of the things that you can't enjoy in a developing country, especially when you are struggling or you belong to mediocre family. Or most of the people I have seen on H1B visa, they are very mediocre. They're not rich people. They are very poor. Everybody has their story. You will listen. I'm one of them. And we are here. I mean, you are here to work and make your life better. If you would be rich, why you would be even coming here? You're better off in your country and where you live. So a lot of these people who are on H1, they're very poor people. But this working here give you opportunity, give you good salaries. You work with one of the biggest companies on the earth. Like you work with Apple. And think about this part. Like as you shuffle or you have to switch between the projects, your learning capability increase um, you work with so many big companies. You learn that the vision, how these companies work, and that you will not be able to learn in sometime in the developing countries. You work with one company, it's a static job, and you pretty much retired there. Yeah, coming from the retirement, if you are working on H1B, pretty much you are not going to have a 401k or pension plan. But if you are on green card, what happen? You are getting like, let's say if I put 4% money in my 401k, that's a pension plan kind of thing, and then my company also put 4%, so they match exactly 4%. Then that goes and they invest in different areas, and when I get retired, like 65 or something years, all the money is there for me, so I can use as a pension plan. So I hope I'm not, the goal is not to discourage you, but tell you like what exactly a person has a life in H1B visa, tough life, you know. But there are good parts to it, you know. So you make good friends and all that. You do a lot of good things as well. So I will encourage you, if you get chance to work on H1B visa, work, you know, come and take this opportunity. You always can go back. It's not gonna be problem for you. So, but go for it, you know. And yes, this is a hard path, but many of us survived, and many of them are living happy after that. So, but yeah, go for it, and I really appreciate any comments, or if you guys like my efforts to educate you on these topics, subscribe it. So I will see you guys in next video.